Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and my spidey senses are going off here. Look at this. From Laura Loomer, Scoop. Sources have confirmed to me that there was a secret big tech and media summit last week in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. Attendees included President of Microsoft and many members of the media, including high-level executives from CNN, New York Times. These are all the bad guys media. These are the lying media, folks. The main topic of discussion was censorship heading into the 2024 presidential election. Now, when you hear censorship, these people aren't at all worried about censorship. When you hear censorship, the translation is, how do we get the tiny handful of media outlets that are telling the truth? How do we handle that? That's what they mean. When you hear these lying media talk about censorship, they can give a rat's behind about censorship. The only thing they care about with regard to censorship is being able to make sure that they are the only ones that get to tell you what not the truth is, but their truth. The truth, the narrative they want you to believe. That's why that was the main topic of discussion. My sources tell me that MSN News one of the largest news sites in the world, has started limiting conservative content across the board following this summit. This is the greatest danger to the survival of this country, folks. Write it down. They even went as far as target specific outlets for their effectiveness against Joe Biden. It's targeting specific outlets. That is unbelievable. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. This is downright scary. I'm told certain outlets were told they were being dropped from the MSN over the way they reported Biden critically. Zero media coverage about this summit. If you have more information about it, DM me. Now, so do you think it's a coincidence that right after their little summit, the following company, all these people, Comcast owns half of those media outlets, folks. Comcast, Disney, NBC, Universal. These people are all in the same club. Just so happens after their little summit, they come back and now they're suspending all of their advertising on the X platform, which until I got suspended was the only place I saw any truth. Okay? So Elon Musk, cry me a river, dude. Okay? And by the way, in my group, DAIXRP.com, we're going to be talking about what I'm going to do going forward a little bit, how we're going to, I'm not done yet. I didn't do anything wrong on the X platform. Just in, Elon Musk says his company X will take legal action described as a thermonuclear lawsuit against far-left group Media Matters in what he describes as a fraudulent attack on his company. This comes amid multiple firms such as Apple, Disney, IBM halted advertisements on the platform due to allegations of increased hate speech following the report. I'm not going to go all into this. To me, it's pretty obvious what all these companies and media companies are up to. You're going into this election cycle, and it's time for them to crank up their, quote, censorship. The only difference is what they call censorship is not what the good guys call censorship. Great question. This is from Elon Musk. I find it really interesting how the media and advertisers continually only target X, while TikTok, Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, and everything else are wildly anti-Semitic recently. Anti-Semitic. Hell, TikTokers are even supporting Osama bin Laden. And then Elon Musk's CEO, who I was turned off by X under her leadership. So her name, just so you know, is Linda Yaccarino. Driven by industry progress, inspired by provocative leadership, Plus, don't mind a good pair of shoes or a great Penn State football scoreboard either. Well, Linda, you turned me off for no reason on your platform. Elon, you can both kiss off because you turned me off and you turned some of my friends off too. And you haven't given any explanation as to why. Anybody who wants to copy her in and Elon Musk in and do a hashtag free DAI and make sure they know what my handle is, it's pitiful. Now, against the backdrop of all that shadiness by the media and these companies, speaking of shady, Laura Shin tweeted this out. Someone took a beautiful photo of my meeting with Senator Loomis. This right here tells me I can't trust Senator Loomis because I know I can't trust her. We've covered her during ETHgate. She's never even whispered any of the facts and video that we've shown on ETHgate. She is a part of the machine, I'm telling you. Write it down. eGrag Crypto, I'm not interested in his bearish outlook. He's talking about X Factor $27. I'm interested in the bullish outlook. Should XRP clinch this month? It'll mark the first monthly candle closure in an upward trend. Previous closures were in a downward trend, recalling the December 2017 candle's top blow off and April 2021's bull run candle. This closure sets the groundwork. XRP's monthly price won't revisit these ranges. It's akin to constructing a tower where foundations take time and remain unseen by the public. Much like XRP's trajectory, stay steady. $27 will form the sturdy bedrock for future prices. As Raoul Paul says, better not F up this generational trade. $27 is just the bedrock? Are you kidding me? I'll take it. Here's Christina Georgieva from the IMF.
This is not the time to turn.
You can tell all these IMF characters they're ready for this CBDC thing to happen. They're almost too enthusiastic.
Back. The public sector should keep preparing to deploy CBDCs and related payment platforms in the future. These platforms should be designed from the start to facilitate cross-border payments, including with CBDCs. We can learn from you, entrepreneurs, business leaders, investors, and brave policy makers.
Brave policymakers. I think I'll stop there. This is Jeremy Allaire from Circle talking about stablecoin regulations. 2024 is the year.
So a digital dollar like USDC can play a really important role in enabling those transaction flows to happen between their ecosystems and the rest of the world. And sort of like when in the early internet we all had our own email systems, and then the internet mail protocols made it possible for us to send emails to each other no matter what system we used. And so dollar stablecoins like USDC can be that kind of connective settlement mechanism to enable different fintech apps to talk to each other and settle transactions between each other. Singapore has been an early leader on the global stage in thinking about stablecoin regulations. And right now they've issued their framework for stablecoin regulations. Circle has become a regulated stablecoin operator now in Singapore, and there'll be new rules that we'll have to comply with in the future. But all around the world, and in Asia specifically, Japan recently finalized their stablecoin regulations. Hong Kong is issuing guidelines and is expected to put in force their stablecoin regulations in the first half of next year. Singapore, the same thing. And so Europe, UK, all these major financial market centers are basically putting in place very clear policies on how stablecoins can be used in the financial system.
All right, that's good on that. And then we've got this. This is the director of the SEC. You know what? I'm going to skip this because he doesn't tell us anything. He does the old, they ask him about the Ripple case, what the court's ruling in the Ripple case means for everything. And he's like, oh, I can't talk about things that are under whatever, ongoing lawsuit, the standard that they're allowed to do. Now, this is the CEO, I believe CEO. Yeah, let me see. CEO of Matic. I think that's who it is. Yeah. CEO of Medico. Listen to what he says. This is him at Ripple's Swell.
But custody is the enabler. With custody, can you then get into value-added services? With custody, can you then go into payments, tokenization, and other streams? And custody, therefore, is this necessary brick, this thing that you have to throw on the table, so that then, as a regulated institution, can you build on top of it and create a service that your clients will appreciate.
Okay. Now, Fidelity is seeking to create an ETF that holds Ethereum according to Friday filings. So this was Friday. So they've joined BlackRock in this. Okay. Then this was from Ashley Prosper. Ripple's connected to all these companies. You can go down. It's like, you name it, they're connected. BNY, BIS, Bank of England, HSBC, BlackRock, WEF, Energy Web Token, Navati, all these companies, okay? Bank of America, MasterCard, all right? Now, and then this was from Digital Perspectives the other day, and I wanted to make sure I drove a point home that I think he's partially making here. He says, hey, BlackRock, why aren't you filing an S1 application for a spot XRP ETF? It's the only digital asset with legal clarity. 1,000% true. I think the thing people missed on the BlackRock, what everybody thought was an XRP ETF filing is this. Ultimately, these Wall Street guys are driven by greed. I mean, they're making money, okay? I don't think that's any mystery. Let me ask you this question. If you're BlackRock, you saw the stir that was created over that XRP ETF. All these guys have. You're telling me these guys aren't gonna put an XRP ETF in play? I think what they saw as a result of that was an extreme demand for a product, and people that are into making money, they don't usually ignore demand for a product. In fact, I think that's the whole reason you're seeing all the regulators going after Binance. I think all these Wall Street guys for years had to sit on the sidelines and stare at Binance making billions of dollars. And then you had Gary out there saying, well, you know, it's not really fair because the incumbents, they have to check certain regulatory boxes, and a lot of these new players aren't having to do that. I think that's the way they look at it. I think that's the reason you're seeing Binance under all this pressure here recently. Now, but with regard to that XRP ETF, I think that this interview right here, there's something said that was missed. And I think that and I went and looked into it. I think that Michael Sonnensen, who's the CEO of Grayscale, in this clip right here, says something, and then I went and looked, and it leads me to believe this thing's just a matter of time. I was interrupted by my son over something silly. So, all right. So the point I was making here is I believe that in this clip, the CEO of Grayscale says something that's really important. And he pointed to something, and I went and looked into it. And it's very interesting. And I'll play it, and then I'm going to show what I found in the group.
Bitcoin down today, but not out. Our next guest says the recent crypto rally is encouraging, with a 40% move higher since early September. How much more upside is there for the digital coin? Let's bring in Grayscale Investment CEO Michael Sonnenschein. Michael, welcome. Great to have you with us.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
The premise behind the rise in Bitcoin is that an ETF is going to be approved by the SEC, and all of a sudden everybody's going to want to be in it. There's going to be a lot of buying of Bitcoin, et cetera. Why should we believe that new money will be attracted into Bitcoin once an ETF is approved, as opposed to capital being reallocated within the Bitcoin universe?
It's a great question. You know, today, without having spot Bitcoin ETFs in the market, there is nearly $30 trillion of advised wealth in the U.S. just alone that needs access to crypto, that needs access to Bitcoin, and by and large hasn't had access to it. So the onset of Bitcoin ETFs, spot Bitcoin ETFs, will really open the door to financial advisors, advised wealth, really to have the opportunity to participate in Bitcoin in a way that they really haven't had before.
So the $30 trillion number is just the assets under management in wealth accounts. It's not actually money that wants to go into Bitcoin. So in your assumption, what percentage of those assets wants an allocation to Bitcoin?
Well, we can start to play around with some numbers. Let's talk about what percentage of that universe wants Bitcoin exposure, over what time period are they going to allocate to it, what is their target allocation going to be, and you pretty quickly get to some pretty large numbers.
Michael, what do you think, again, when investors are thinking about diversification and they're looking for the sorts of assets that have the...
Notice that they have the XRP chart up while he's talking, first of all.
Potential to outperform over the long run. This is very new for all intents and purposes. What do you think the bull case is right now into 2024 for having an allocation in Bitcoin, whether it's in spot, you know what I mean, or whether it's in a ETF, that sort of thing? What is the bull case for all those trillions that are looking for a home?
I think for most investors, when they look at Bitcoin itself, the use case that resonates with the largest percentage of them is really looking at Bitcoin as a digital gold. It's gold meant for a more digitized age. It's more portable. It's more divisible. It has arguably greater utility. And that alone is a really large market that has not been addressed yet.
Michael, how about the broadening of this rally? We talk all the time about, the broader market is 7 stocks. Are we seeing breadth? But, your point is that you're seeing breadth across the digital asset space, and that this rally, which is like Bitcoin's, up 120% in a year, probably garden variety of moves that we've seen at different times. But how about the other parts of the entire spectrum?
It's a great question. We are seeing from investors that they want to move beyond just Bitcoin and Ethereum into other parts of crypto, but a lot of them don't even know where to start. We recently introduced a new framework. It's called the Grayscale Crypto Sectors, and it borrows from sector investing in traditional assets like equities, but really helps investors break down the use cases, the differentiation amongst different protocols, and ultimately will allow them to develop the vocabulary and the metrics to be able to monitor developments across crypto, not just in its 2 largest assets by market cap.
Okay, I don't know if you caught what I caught, but in the private group, I'm about to show you what I caught. Okay, and it's go to daixrp.com, but I think that I have something that shows that this XRP ETF is inevitable, and I think that he set it right there. Now, we're also in the private group today. We're going to take a hard look at the All the World's a Stage file. In fact, I've called it the red file before, but I'm gonna show you something that I would call this the red alert file. We're gonna go a place I don't know if I've ever gone, at daixrp.com. I'm also gonna tell, if I can remember, yesterday I forgot, what I'm doing with my X suspension. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. daixrp.com. We are about to show what I believe is the inevitability of the XRP ETF. Here we go.